So let's talk about somewhat of a controversial topic. It may not be, depending on the person, but everybody wants to raise the question: which indicators are best to use? All right. Now, if you've been following my channel for some time, I do not use indicators. All right, meaning your MACDs, your EMAs, your SMAs, things of that nature. Okay. Now, I do use one tool. I like to call it a tool more so than an indicator, which is volume profile. Now, the reason being, we all know anyone with experience trading, okay, should know that volume is what? It's extremely important while trading, okay? I'm going to show you today in this video why the volume profile works out so well for me and the strategy I use when it comes to supply and demand. So sit back, watch the intro to the video, and we're going to jump right into it. All right, so my indicator of choice is going to be the volume profile. You guys see me use it all the time. I have it loaded on my charts, and especially my entry charts, okay, and even my higher time frame. Volume is extremely important. Okay, we have to understand and see areas within the market where the market may want to go. I use it as a means of a GPS. Okay, GPS. It's a navigational point that lets me know, and I use it in cooperation with the strategy I use, supply and demand. I like to see and trade areas where there's aggressive buying or selling, after a break of structure, whatever the case is. But everything has to line up. And when I put that extra piece in there when it comes to the volume profile, prices at an area of demand, I'll show you that here in a minute. Then if I look at the volume profile and say, oh, okay, this is a good area, this is a good geographical land point or area of volume where price could actually reject, okay, because price likes to move from lower volume back to an area of high volume. And I say this in many videos. Price likes to go from a high volume area through a low volume area to another high volume area. Why does it like to go to areas of volume? Because that's the safety net, okay? It's traded there before, loads of transactions taking place there, so that's where it's naturally speaking it's going to go. Other indicators, like I said, your SMAs, your EMAs, your MACDs and all those other crazy indicators, they're lag behind. I'm not saying that they can't provide some means of guidance while you're trading, but if you're using them to execute or to jump in a trade, based upon your strategy, especially when it comes to supply and demand, you may get in a trade too late, I'd say, and then miss the move. All right, so don't place a lot of emphasis or preference on most indicators. Okay, I'm not talking about like cumulative delta or the tick or anything like that. Those work a little bit differently. So we're not going to discuss those in detail, but I don't even, I had the cumulative delta loaded to my chart, but I don't need it. So it's a great indicator to use, especially if you're looking for like means of divergence and things like that. But for me, I like to treat my trading and make my trading as simple and easy as possible. And that's why I stated that having and trading from a naked chart by purely understanding market structure and price action, that's really all you need, okay? All right, maybe you want to have a few lines, whatever the case is, just to mark off some zones or some rectangle boxes like I do here where I'm marking off supply and demand zones. You don't need a bunch of bells and whistles. But I like the volume profile. I do like it. It gives a little bit of aesthetics to my chart, decorates a little bit. But as far as means of helping me trade, it does really help me trade. It gives me those landmarks, those geographical areas, kind of, navigates me in a sense. And so I'm going to show you a trade or an area, what I'm talking about, and how you can use the volume profile. Now, I use one from a third party, a company, but they're down now. The site is down because of sanctions that are because of the war going on between Ukraine and Russia. I purchased it probably 8+ years ago, I believe, and been using it ever since. And it's a beautiful package, and they offered beautiful packages as well. Other packages like the footprint and the ladder and things like that. Other indicators, but right now their site is down. I'm not sure when they're going to be back up. But it does work for anyone that paid for the full license, as I did many years ago, and it still works beautifully. But NinjaTrader has a great order flow suite just as well. If you have a lifetime license, and they have the volume profile tool or indicator built in as well. that you can use, okay? And I'm sure there's other third-party indicator volume profile packages out there that you can purchase as well, or at least try for a trial basis to see if it's going to work for you, or if you like it. But this is the one I use. It's from discotrading.com. Again, they are not up and running right now. Their site is actually down due to sanctions, okay? They are only continue to work with, I guess, previous customers in reference to licenses that currently exist and that are active, all right? But let's take a look here at, this is a quick example or setup that I'm talking about and how I use the volume profile, all right? I've talked about this in many videos when it comes to supply and demand style trading. What I'm looking for is if I'm looking for a demand zone, which this rectangular box is right here, okay? All right, so this is a demand zone, okay? We got a, aggressive move to the upside here, all right? Price taking out, this area here. There's, a little bit of liquidity. There's liquidity resting right there, and it moves higher, okay? But when the move was made to the downside right here, we got this low here. Then price turns around and starts moving higher, taking out, swings to the upside, okay? So it breaks through this area right here to the upside, and it leaves, which is aggressive buying to the upside, it leaves behind a demand zone, okay? Now, one of the most important things that I always talk about is imbalances, okay? Back at an area of demand or supply. In this case here, we have that. We have an imbalance resting right here as well as one right here within the zone, okay? Price pulls back to that area right there. It rejects it. At that point of rejection, you may be asking, what am I looking for when it comes to rejection? I'm looking for a close of a candle in the opposite direction. I'm not going to go in detail about that in this video because I've talked about it so much in so many other videos, I believe just in the video I created yesterday. Okay, but we get a move to the upside. You see this quick shift or push to the upside. All right, right here. It came to the demand zone. All right, at the breaking higher. All right, so it broke above, took out some areas here, pulls back, demand, imbalance. But what I want you to pay attention to is the area on the volume profile here to the left-hand side of the chart to where price pulled back to. Now, you see that we moved into the demand zone, right? It filled in the imbalance or gaps right there. But look where price is at when it comes in relation to the volume profile. I like to take my trades at the lower portion of a high volume area. So we got a high volume node right here, or volume area right here. Price moves down at the outer edge of it. So if you're at a good zone in which you should get rejection at, price is going to reject more likely the area at the extremity, the lower extremity of a high volume area, and want to push higher, okay? It likes to move from a lower portion, okay, back up through a high volume area or back to the median of a high volume area, go to a low volume area, back to and move up to the next high volume area, okay? So price comes down. This is my geographical land point, okay? This is the GPS I'm using right here on the right-hand side of my chart. And we get the rejection off this demand zone. I'm looking to go long when I get the rejection, and my aim is going to be for some means of liquidity or possibly some gap or imbalances resting above. So that's how I use the GPS. Nothing fancy about it. Nothing that requires too much in-depth thought process at all. It's just a point of reference is all it is when I'm using the volume profile. Because again, I like to see areas where price, where volume exists on the chart, okay? And when price comes back to that area of demand or supply here, we're at a high volume area right at the edge of it, okay? I like to take my trades going long from the lower edge of a high volume area and selling from the outer or upper edge of a high volume area. Okay, so let's take a look at a supply area. All right, I talked about the supply zone yesterday, I believe it was, in a video. But if you look where this box right here is, this is a supply area, okay? We got a break of structure to the downside. All right, price comes down, makes a low right here. There's a low over here. We got liquidity resting in this area here. We got equal lows sitting right here, okay? When more price is moving to the upside, boom, retraces, okay? Comes back to this zone or back to this low right here. So there's a low right here and price pulls back, okay? Now, this is a supply zone, okay? Pulls back, aggressive selling to the downside. We have an imbalance that price pulls back to and fills in, okay? On the move back to the upside here. And look in reference to where price stands at right here. All right, so you guys see that? It pulls right back to the upper portion of this high volume area. Again, if you're going short on the volume profile, look to sell at the upper portion of the area of volume, not down here. You don't want to be shorting right here. You want to short the top edge of it, okay? You do not, again, want to be selling right here. Sell at the tops, all right? You ever hear the saying, buy the lows, sell the highs? That's what I'm talking about here. Pulling back to the area of supply, we want to sell the highs at the top end of an area of volume and allow price to move through the area of volume, okay? And it's going to want to test the lower volume area. In this case here, once I'm engaged into a trade or into a position here, my aim is going to be this area of liquidity down below. Run these lows right here, okay? I say that many times and many times again, that once you're into a trade off a supply and demand, look to try to take price or take out the position by first means, if you got multiple contracts on, at an area of liquidity either resting above or below. In this case here, this is supply, so we're looking for price to test some area of liquidity below, okay? But that's pretty much how I use the volume profile, just as a means of a GPS area, selling the highs, buying the lows, okay? And volume is extremely important. We want to see some area on our charts where price has built up volume, okay? I don't want to trade in areas where there's really not much volume at, because price can quickly move through that area, fairly fast, all right? Because basically it boils down to, if there's not much, transactions or where there's a lot of orders that were filled that creates a lot of volume in a particular area, then price has no interest in wanting to get back to those areas or to maybe transact that again. There was already, if I do this right here, okay, you see this? Okay, you see that? There was already a lot of activity that took place right here, all right? So when price came down right here, okay, and there's already an area of volume here, and this is a supply zone, when it comes back there, price says, I'm back at home where I'm comfortable at. Let me go ahead and see if I can make something happen here again, okay? And it does. It sells off right there, okay? So pay attention, to the volume profile. To me, it's an extremely important tool to use. I'm not saying that you need it, but I like to incorporate it in my trading, all right? But that's all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to show you a great indicator that I use, one of my favorites, which is the volume profile. And there are, lots of versions of it out there, all right? So you can find it from a third-party provider, or you can also purchase it, or if you've got a full-time license with NinjaTrader, then you can use the one they have built into their order flow suite, I believe, as well. So I appreciate everyone. If you aren't a current subscriber, guys, I highly recommend you joining the team here, and also, join us on our Discord community as well. You can find the link to the Discord down in the description portion of the video. Find the link, invite yourself in. We got a bunch of great community members. We have a channel on there titled The Trading Floor, to where we, as traders, we share our trades on a daily basis. And, lots of us don't have any problem with discussing why we took those trades, okay? So it's just a great community to where you can learn from, all right? And that's all I have. But if you do not mind, please go ahead and drop a like on the video by clicking the like button. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn your post notifications on by clicking on the bell next to the sub button so that you never miss one of the uploads. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and have a great trading day.